welcome to the David S. Mack Sports and Exhibition Complex here on the campus of Hofstra University. I'm Olivia Hofstra, joined by Zach Weicker. You're watching Hofstra Wrestling right here on Flow Wrestling or Hofstra's YouTube channel. It's the second year for head coach Jamie Franco with the Pride as he returned to his alma mater. So far, it's a young team. They've had an interesting season. Part of the thing this season is it's such a tough schedule. They hosted Columbia in their home opener this season and recently took on the University of Pennsylvania, but that's not it, as they host Wisconsin today to continue this tough schedule.
And Wisconsin's not the only Big Ten opponent the Pride will be facing this season. Later this month, they will be versing the University of Virginia, and in February, they will be hosting Rutgers. But let's not forget the EIWA, as the Pride will also be facing tough competitors in Bucknell and Drexel.
Hofstra had last week off after their weekend in Philly, where they lost to the University of Pennsylvania and competed in the Keystone Classic. Jake Slotnick placed at 165 pounds.
Slotnick placed 8th at the Keystone Classic, going 3-2, but this is not the only tournament that Slotnick has placed this season. He went 5-1 at the Princeton Open, taking 5th place. Slotnick currently holds 11 victories for the Pride, which is the most among all Pride members. His biggest victory to date comes at the MAC, where he beat ranked opponent Cesar Alvin of Columbia.
As for the Badgers, they just had a win over Army yesterday, and Braxton Amos currently is tied for the team lead in wins, but he has an impressive resume all on his own.
And we have not seen Amos in 2 seasons, but for good reasons, as he was competing in the Olympic World Trials, and now he has plenty of international success being a world team member in 2022. On the collegiate level, he was a 2-time NCAA qualifier and holds one of the fastest tech falls in collegiate history with 3 minutes.
Once again, I'm Olivia Hillstead, joined by Zach Weicker, and stick around because we have lots of wrestling ahead of us here today.
Apple Bank opened its doors over 160 years ago. And back then, it was all about one-on-one banking. In today's world, banking's all about easy and convenient, and saving you time for the moments that matter. We get that, but sometimes you need to speak with someone to make it happen. And at Apple Bank, that's what we still do. One-on-one service since the day we first opened.
Welcome to Apple Bank. How can I help you?
Easy, convenient, personal banking. Apple Bank, your neighbor, your bank, since 1863.
I wasn't born a leader.
It wasn't given to me.
I couldn't buy it.
How'd I get here?
I decided.
I decided.
I decided.
I decided.
Decide to lead as an Army officer.
Bring color to life with the very best paint, only at Sherwin-Williams.
Welcome back to the MAC. We're going to get you the lineups going today, and then we'll get right into wrestling. As for Hofstra, we're starting out at 141 pounds. You're going to see Chase Liardi, followed by Alex Turley, Frank Volpe, Jake Slotnick, and Jarius Clark. And then we're going to take a little bit of a break before starting again at 184 pounds.
At 141, we will see Chase Liardi for the Pride this season. He does have a 2-6 record. But on the Wisconsin side of things, Carson Exford, he's a redshirt freshman at 141. Then we'll be seeing at 149 Joseph Zargo, Luke Meckler at 157, Cody Goblin at 165, and at 174, Luke Condon. This first matchup will be at 141 with Chase Liardi, a junior from Massapequa, New York, with a 2-6 record. And at 141 For Wisconsin, it will be Carson Exer, who is a redshirt freshman from Idaho with a 4-4 record.
Already getting into some hand fighting here on the mat. Both guys locking up right now. Exford with the collar tie.
Liardi did compete at the Keystone Classic, going 1-2. That is one of his 2 wins this season, and that did come by beating Gavin Suso of Edinburgh 8-3. Even though Liardi has had 6 losses, he has faced plenty of tough competition, losing to a tech fall to Joey Oliveira from Rutgers and a 5-4 decision to Lorenzo Frezza of Columbia, 2 ranked opponents Liardi has faced this season.
Exford had a tough Russian tie there, but Liardi did a good job of squaring his hips and pushing away on the head to get out of that tie. Looked like he was going to try to set it up for his own. One thing you have to remember about Liardi, and we're talking about Big Ten opponents, Liardi spent a year at Ohio State where he had a really impressive freshman season before returning back to the island to be a member of the Pride. But so he's wrestled this level of competition a lot before in his career. Thanks for a little shot there. Good defense from Liardi. Really aggressive with these hand ties, really heavy hands. So we're halfway through this first period.
As we mentioned earlier, this will be another ranked opponent that Liardi has faced, and he did really well against Frezza, who is a ranked opponent in Columbia. So even though he's been versing these very tough competitors, Liardi has made them close matches and in matches that he could potentially win.
Exford clearing the ties there that Liardi had set up. Had his hand on that elbow earlier, looking to pass that, create some offense.
Right now, it's only been 2 minutes, but it's a lot of feeling each other out. Liardi getting on the back of Exford's necks, going for a little snap downs. Now a little more action as both of them are trying to find an opening.
Exford had the wrist for a minute there. Liardi with a collar tie. See these guys tying up, but they're also light enough that they like to shoot from spaces. Liardi takes a nice shot, stuck under the legs of Exford. Exford holding on to Liardi's ankles as he'll sprawl out. Liardi locked on the hands. 17 seconds on the clock. Referee's going to call that a stalemate and get reset. I like this good offense from Liardi. One of the things we said going into this was Hofstra taking the first shot is a really good goal against an opponent in a team so tough. And we saw that from Liardi. That's going to do it for the first period. Scoreless right now. We'll see if it looks a little bit different with top-bottom as Exford's going to start on bottom.
Even though Liardi didn't score on that shot, it was a good attempt for him, but also good defense from Exford. He did a good job of separating his hips, separating his legs from Liardi, creating a good bout of separation where the referee had to stand them both up.
Kind of a caution there, just a little bit of an early start. So get reset. Liardi will cover. It's that arm under for a claw. Exford quick to his feet though. He'll get out and he'll get the escape. So now back on their feet. We'll see if Liardi continues that offense that he had started in the first. It was a pretty straightforward shot, so we'll see if he tries to create a little bit more of an angle. So Exford takes a little shot, and Liardi followed that really well with a shot of his own, a re-attack. But Exford did a good job of bringing him up to defend. Now has an underhook on Liardi. Liardi doing a good job of using his head to kind of create that space.
That re-attack was the second time we've seen a re-attack from Liardi in the first period. We did see Exford take a shot. We saw Liardi stuff it, and right away Liardi went back to Exford trying to get another attempt of his own.
It's more hand hiding here from these two. Another shot by Liardi, but he was really flat on that shot. So Exford did a good job of sprawling out, getting his hips down, trying to look for Liardi's legs here. Liardi building, still holding on to that leg. He's going to need to move a lot to use this for his own offense, but Exford does a good job of reaching under to the ankle and breaking Liardi's lock to try to spin around for the takedown. Liardi using his hand on Exford's leg to keep moving, but his ankle is kind of caught under him, and so Exford's going to keep moving around, and he'll get the 3 for the takedown. There's some good defense from Liardi, but that's a really tough spot when the other guy has your ankle and has you kind of tied up there. Exford just had to take his time, run the corner, and get there.
Liardi put himself in an unfortunate situation. He took a shot, but he took a shot from distance where Exford is able to use his weight and put all the pressure on Liardi, which put him flat to the mat straight away from the shot. Despite that, Liardi did a good job of grabbing onto Exford's leg, trying to follow through as long as possible, but at the end of the day, Exford was able to keep moving around and finally get to the back, get the 3 points, and now he's up 4-0.
Liardi quick to his feet here, but big mat return from Exford. We'll see if Liardi's able to build again. Riding time not a factor right now, but he's got Liardi really flat here, and he's using his ankle, starting to use, trying to get a 2-on-1 on the arms. Reaches across that claw, staying really heavy on Liardi, making it really hard for him to create any separation to get out. Puts a leg in for a leg ride. But he's a little bit high, so we'll see if Liardi's able to shake him off. Exford doing a good job of staying under the arms to not get too high as he sets up that half. Trying to stay under the arms. Liardi trying to shake him forward so that he can get his leg free. It's really hard to build a base in this situation. Less than a minute left in this third period. Hard cross face there from Exford. Trying to bunch Liardi up. Moving to a 2-on-1 here on the wrist.
Liardi did get a stalling warning. The referee did not see any action from Liardi right now. Liardi is not trying to advance his position, but as we mentioned, that Liardi tries to build to a base. Let's see if he can try to stand up from this.
Exford has a really tough ride. This is kind of a difficult spot to build from. That's one of the other things, Zach, you and I are talking about. Like, what do we want to see from the Hofstra wrestlers? We want to see them take the first shot and be tough on bottom, try to get up, really put that fight in, and so that's what Liardi's doing. It's not going to be enough as we get to the end of this first period. So it's going to be a win for Wisconsin, win by decision for Exford. So that's going to put them up 3-0 over the Pride.
Yeah, we were mentioning taking that first shot, and that's what Liardi did. Liardi took the first shot in the matchup. He was on bottom, but Exford, he put Liardi in these tough positions, but he wasn't able to turn Liardi. It was a 4-0 matchup, so it was close. But we will be moving now to 149, where Alex Turley will be wrestling for the Pride. He is a redshirt junior from St. Louis, Missouri, with a 1-4 record. He will be facing Joseph Zargo, who is a redshirt senior from South River, New Jersey, who holds a 5-1 record. Now, Zargo did wrestle yesterday as well, where we saw the whole Wisconsin lineup face Army, and he versed Mason Borowiecki, and he beat him via tech fall 22-6.
Already some action here. Some more hand fighting from these two. Zargo with a front headlock on Turley here. Turley will break out of that, though. Getting to a collar tie. Zargo again on the front headlock. Means Turley needs to keep a short neck and not let himself get snapped in that position. Trying to work from some space here. Both guys clearing the ties pretty aggressively. Good hand fighting battle here. Zargo with this front headlock that he shucks Turley by for the takedown. Turley really fast to his feet. Zargo didn't get him all the way flat, so it was able for Turley to get out and get the escape. So 3-1 right now, score.
See Zargo very aggressive on these hand ties. Keep advancing his position, trying to get the perfect position. We saw him go for a throw there. He's trying to aim for something else. See a lot of snap down attempts from Zargo. He's making Turley work here. And Turley right now, a lot of it, what he's doing is defending Zargo's hand ties instead of trying to create his own.
As Zargo gets to a leg here on a single, lifting it. Turley couldn't even put in a wizard there to defend, so it's going to be a takedown, but he'll let Turley up for another escape. Going for that front headlock once again. Yeah, he's kind of overwhelming Turley this offense. It seems like Zargo's going to keep this pace for as long as he can. We're halfway through this first period, and he's already got 2 takedowns.
And Wisconsin, they have an older lineup. This is Zargo's 5th season, and he's showing that experience right now, grabbing another 3 points.
A nice throw by to the single here. Turley trying to use a wizard to defend, but he's already given up the takedown. And so Zargo going to let Turley out for an escape. And once again, just throws him by, shucks him, and lets him up. So what you're seeing here from Zargo is really good hand fighting, but also really good footwork. He's feeling Turley's pressure really well and adjusting and kind of using, really just having Turley waiting for him to step and using that off balance, that pressure to throw him by. So you're not seeing anything technically, like, it's very simple technique, but it's done really well. He's executing really well as he is coming out the back door trying to isolate a leg for another takedown here. Turning into Turley. And so that'll be another takedown. So Zargo will go up 18-5 right now as we get to the end of this first period. You need to be 15 points ahead of your opponent for an automatic win by tech fall.
And we saw a tech fall yesterday from Zargo, but when you listen to what his coach says about him, he's known for those strong dual performances, and he's known for major decisions. He's known for getting points on the board, but right now Zargo is looking for more than just a major decision, as he's looking to get those 5-team points and get the tech fall.
So he'll go straight to Turley's leg. Turley tries to dive under to create some counter offense, but it's not going to be very successful. Zargo felt that and dropped, and so he'll get to the legs, and there it is. That's the takedown, and Zargo will win by technical fall 21-5, so that'll put the Badgers up 5 more points to lead the Pride 8-0.
Extremely fast tech fall, getting it done in 3 minutes and 15 seconds. So we will be moving on to 157, where Frank Volpe will be competing for the Pride. He's a redshirt sophomore from Hop Hog, New York, holding a 7-7 record, and he'll be facing Luke Meckler of Wisconsin, who's a redshirt senior from Stockhog, Wisconsin. He'll currently hold a 6-2 record and ranked for the Badgers.
Starting with a lot of hand fighting in all these matches so far. Volpe with the collar tie and a front headlock there. Volpe digging in. Both guys on a collar tie. Nice front headlock from Meckler there. But Volpe does a good job of staying on his feet, not getting caught in that.
Last dual meet at the MAC. There's only 2 victories for the Pride, and one of them did come from Frank Volpe. It was Volpe and Jake Slotnick, who we will be seeing next. So Volpe this season was able to get a victory at the Pride, has 7 wins for the Pride, which is among the highest among all team members. Even though sometimes his victories aren't the prettiest, he does find a way to get it done. So let's see if he can make it done against a very tough opponent, really a high-ranked opponent, number 32 ranked, that Meckler is.
Some more hand fighting. This seems to be the theme of the duel. Volpe working those collar ties, trying to be heavy on the hands, but Meckler doing a good job of just seeing the openings as he goes for the ankle here on a single, and he'll get around, just continuing the movement, and he'll get the 3, get that takedown of Volpe. Meckler new to this lineup for Wisconsin, but not new to high-level wrestling, if I
Yes.
correct. Okay.
He's a transfer from Oklahoma State, so this is his first season competing for Wisconsin. Last season, he did have a losing record, 11 wins, 17 defeats, but again, that's a lot of matches, and he's wrestling at the top as you can get in Oklahoma State. So right there, what we saw from Meckler is really impressive work as he took Volpe down, but Volpe faced forward, so what Meckler had to do was reshoot. Once again, Volpe faced forward. So another reshoot. So it took him 3 tries to get the 3-point, but he didn't give up on the takedown. And he was able to get the 3 points. And now he's putting Volpe in a dangerous situation as he has the wrist control and working for a turn.
Yeah, Meckler going to try to set up an armbar here, but Volpe really fighting through this position. That's a pretty painful spot to be in, to have your wrist pinned to your back like that, but he is able to roll out of that and get his hands in front of him. Starting to try to build his base. He'll get a stall warning. You have to be active on bottom, even as painful as it is. So Volpe trying to build here, trying to create that separation with a little hip heist, get up to his knees. Meckler rolling that wrist. See, that's a very tough spot to be in as he rolled that wrist, pinned it to the back now. It's a short time in this first period, so Volpe's going to be able to fight off a turn or a pin.
Yeah, as time winds down. It will only be 3-0 for Meckler. We did see Volpe get the stalling warning, but compared to the yard, I did think Volpe was a little more active on bottom, and it was an early call. You saw Volpe continuously trying to scoot his legs in to get that, but we're going to rewatch that takedown. You see Volpe facing forward a second time, and right there on the third attempt, he got to back. So good work from both wrestlers there as we will be starting the second period.
That'll be an escape for Meckler. Put him up 4-0. What I will say about, while Liardi was a little bit less mobile on bottom, Meckler was going for the pin on Volpe. Like, you could tell he was trying to set something up to get the turn, to get the pin. And so we'll see if in the third period Volpe takes bottom. That could be a really dangerous spot. Or if Meckler's able to get another takedown, which is very likely. Little shot there, little high crotch attempt. Cleared the tie there. Meckler working from a collar tie most of today.
You know, a lot of the Wisconsin wrestlers go for that collar tie. We saw Zargo do that in our previous matchup a lot, and going for those snap downs like attempts against Charlie. So now, again, he's using that collar tie, something they probably work in the Wisconsin room a lot to get those 3 points.
Seen Meckler taking a lot of shots on the far ankle. Some pretty low shots. His front headlock here with an underhook. Still holding on to that underhook.
And as we were talking about that collar tie there, he used that collar tie to get the snap down attempt to almost get the 3 point, but right again, gets in on the legs.
They're working on a single here on the edge of the mat. Volpe trying to create that separation. Holding on to Meckler's arm here. It's going to make it difficult for him to finish, but Meckler's going to clear that tie and get the takedown. Using the far ankle just to really take Volpe down to the mat.
Tough position to be in for Volpe. He was close to getting out of bounds, which would have prevented another 3 points for Meckler, but Meckler did a good job of sinking him back into the circle, and then from there he worked to get the 3 points.
Short time left in the second period, so it'll be Volpe's choice, I believe, going into the third. So we'll see what he takes. This might be something where you want to stay in neutral so you're not having to go under a guy who's pretty tough on top, and so that's what they're going to do. So Volpe's got to move to stay in this match.
Meckler did compete yesterday as well, but instead of the other two guys, or excuse me, instead of Zargo, who won his matchup, Meckler did lose to Joseph Antonio of Army 10-8. It was a close matchup, so right now Meckler's trying to right those wrongs from yesterday. It's not so close as Meckler's currently winning 7-0, but Volpe has also found success in his most recent matchups. Went 2-2 at the Keystone Classic, beating Chase Burke 4-3, beating Nicholas Alvarez 6-4. Not a lot of wrestlers got 2 wins from that tournament for the Pride, so he's one of few.
That was some really good defense there from Volpe as Meckler was in on the shot, but Volpe kept moving and got the angle, was able to free his ankle and his leg to get out of that. Could have been a really dangerous position. The pace has definitely slowed down a little bit with these two as we have a minute left in this third period.
Volpe's defense has definitely been a standout of this matchup. Even though Meckler was able to get 2 takedowns on him, Meckler really got to work for those, and he's taken plenty of takedown attempts. You see right there, once again, Meckler going in on a shot, and Volpe was able to use inside control to prevent Meckler from getting in on the legs.
Volpe got hit with stalling again, so that was another point to Meckler, who also is pretty far ahead in riding time as we get to the end of this third period. Volpe just trying to get any points, as he'll get a nice little shot there. A single, and he'll finish it, so he'll get a takedown. One of the other things, Zach, we were talking about was like competing the whole match, finishing the match strong. And so really appreciate Volpe continuing to work on his offense there. It was a really nice shot.
Hey, sometimes you might not win the matchup, but you can find wins in the matchup. Getting a takedown against a ranked opponent like Meckler is a big victory for Frank Volpe.
So Volpe's going to lose that match. Meckler will win by major decision, so that will put Wisconsin up 4 more points, making it 11-0.
Now, we mentioned earlier, someone that has been a standout for the Pride is Jake Slotnick, and he will be competing at 165 for the Pride this season. He holds an impressive 11-6 record. He's a redshirt sophomore from Williamstown, New Jersey. He will be taking on Cody Gable from Muckwang, Wisconsin. He is a redshirt junior holding a 4-2 record.
Yeah, looking at these rosters, Hofstra has a lot of local guys, and Wisconsin has a lot of Wisconsin guys. But once again, some hand fighting here from these two.
Last time we were at the MAC, Slotnick was able to pick up a victory against the ranked opponent, so do not count him out. Even though there's a number 26 next to Gebel's name, Slotnick can still find a way to get points and pull out the victory. He is known for making upsets this season, so you cannot count him out of any matchup.
Slotnick with an underhook here, but Gable really heavy on that collar tie. Getting Slotnick into a front headlock here. Slotnick does have that underhook, though. He got out of that front headlock. Now posting on the shoulder to create some space. Slotnick with a little shot there. Going for the leg. Trying to clear the ties. Slotnick with an underhook. Gable using his head, though, to create that space. Seems like he really wants a front headlock as he's trying to force Slotnick down. A little shot there from space. It seems like if Slotnick is going to be successful in a shot in this match, he needs to really work in and get really close to Gable. So he'll have to time it with those hand fights.
Yeah, we did see Gable just go for a shot there, but it was a sloppy shot. It was from distance, and Slotnick was able to snap the head down of Gable, preventing him from taking that shot and just circle to the right. Now, Gable, he is an NCAA qualifier last season, and despite that, he only had a 9-8 record, so we didn't see him that long, and when we did see Gable last season, it was against tough competition. Once again, a weak shot from Gable.
Nice shot from Jake Slotnick there. Double that he almost transitioned to do a single. Still has that underhook. Had double underhooks for a minute there. That was a really nice shot, but well defended by Gable.
And something we saw earlier in the Arties matchup is every time his opponent shot in on him, every time Expert shot in on him, Liard did a good job of reshooting. That's what we saw there from Slotnick. A weak shot from Gable. And what did Slotnick do? Reshoot. Close to getting the 3 points there, but really good defense from Gable to prevent any points in the first period.
Short time here to end this first period. Now, Slotnick has had a really good season. We've said, obviously, leading the team in wins. Had some upsets already. But it made me think about why Jamie Franco structured the schedule like he did. Obviously, Wisconsin coming in with 5 ranked guys, that's guaranteeing the Pride 5 ranked matchups. And so for a guy like Jake Slotnick, it's really exciting to get that exposure to these good guys, a guaranteed match against a ranked guy. So early in the season, he's really building a resume for himself, which you need going into the postseason, not just for your own qualification attempts, but also to kind of show the strength of the EIWA of your conference so that you can get more allocations, more spots to try to send guys. And so you saw obviously hosting Wisconsin, they're going to host Rutgers. They're going to go wrestle Virginia. They're not competing at some of the tournaments. This weekend is Cleve King Las Vegas, and Hofstra, instead of going there and competing, is hosting Wisconsin here so that they're able to guarantee the ranked matchups.
And at a time we did see Gable get the 1 point. He was able to stand there pretty easily. Slotnick didn't give up on it. He was trying to follow through, was trying to keep him close, but at the end of the day, Gable was able to just keep on fighting, fight the hand control, and get the 1 point. So with a minute left, to hand fighting in the middle, trying to find opportunities. This is a slower match compared to some of the other matches we have seen tonight, but it's two tactical wrestlers, and they don't want to mess up. They want to give the other wrestler any advantage.
Beautiful shot there from Slotnick on a single. Still holding on to the leg as Gable tries to sprawl out, but Slotnick building to his feet now. See what he does with this leg here. Really holding on, trying to bring him down. Really good defense there from Gable to keep moving as soon as he felt the mat, though. Slotnick now has to be careful here. Both guys on their feet now in a little bit of a better spot. Gable pressuring Slotnick on the edge of the mat, trying to duck under there. Still in. Got a front headlock on Slotnick. Trying to turn the corner. Short time in the second period. Slotnick in a little bit of a dangerous spot there, but fought well. It's a really short time here. The coach is trying to call. They're pretty worked up, the Wisconsin bench, over this. Chris Bono, the head coach. But no points will be awarded, though, so we'll get reset with 1 second left on the clock here. But really good flurry of action there from both guys.
A crazy sequence there. We saw a few seconds ago, Slotnick had a really good single leg, was able to bring it up, trying to tree it and get Gable to the ground, but Gable did a good job of fighting through, facing forward, and through that, it put Slotnick in a bad situation. The smallest mistakes you can take advantage of, but from there, Slotnick did a good job of just building back up, standing up. They faced forward, no points awarded, and from there, they were at the edge of the mat. You saw Gable get a good snap down, and Slotnick wasn't up right away, so he was able to take advantage of that, trying to spin behind. You saw him get really close, but they were at the edge of the mat, so with 1 second left, no points awarded, did not get the 3, and instead, the 2 went back to the center. And now we still have a 1-0 match, with the 1 point being awarded was the one stand-up earlier.
So get back to some action here in the third period. This is probably the most equal match we'll see tonight, Zach. Obviously, Slotnick having beaten guys who were ranked as highly as Gable is. And he's doing a really good job of wrestling him really tough and creating his own opportunities and openings.
Now, an interesting choice from Slotnick. The score is 1-0, but he's confident on the feet. He did not want to go on bottom. He did not want to work, try to get that stand-up. He knows how tough a guy like Gable could be on top. So instead, he's confident what he can do on the feet. You saw him get 2 really close takedown attempts. You saw when he beat Cesar Alvin, a ranked guy, it wasn't from what he did on bottom. It wasn't from getting points from standing up. It was from the takedowns. He got 2 takedowns on Cesar Alvin. That was those 6 points for Slotnick. So going to his third period, he is very confident in his takedown. So instead of trying to get the quote-unquote easy point by standing up, he's going to try to get the 3 points by taking down Gable.
Yeah, I think Slotnick is best on his feet rather than trying to work off of bottom. I don't think I've seen him face many tough riders so far this season, even though he's had tough opponents. The Big 10 and Big 12 are really where you see the guys who are really tough on top, like classically tough on top in folk style wrestling. Underhooks from Slotnick here. Gable able to clear those, though. Big shot from space on Slotnick. We have a stall warning on Gable. We'll see if Slotnick's able to finish this shot, though. Moving to one leg. Gable trying to lift the hips here. Got about 30 seconds. Slotnick trying to come out the back door. His coaching staff really enthusiastic, trying to tell him to isolate it, get to the leg. Now he's got to finish again. Tries to switch to a double, still on a single in a crackdown position now. All the coaches on their feet. Slotnick trying to control. It's a really short time here, but this is his best shot of the night. But it won't be enough as we get to the end of this first period, but really nice last attempt there from Slotnick. Was in really deep in a hard-fought match, but it'll be Gable who walks away with the victory, 1-0 over Jake Slotnick. So that'll put Wisconsin up 3 more points, making it 14-0
That might
over
be
the Pride.
as close as you can get on a takedown. Slotnick did a great job against the rank opponent, making it only a 1-point match. Slotnick had almost went back door there, but Gable did a good job of staying as close as possible. But we will be moving on to 174, where we'll be seeing Jarius Clark, a redshirt junior from Blackwood, New Jersey, with a 4-6 record, taking on Luke Condon from Poway, California, a redshirt sophomore with a 4-3 record.
With this being our 5th match of the night, we'll take a little break after this match and then get started at 184 pounds and then coming back down to through the heavyweights to the lightweights to end the duel. Condon tried to use some offense there, but Clark able to kind of get to, this is a very interesting position to be in, because Condon's kind of just like climbing on Clark, but he didn't get the takedown, so it's not holding anything. But Clark holding on to Condon's arm, Condon trying to use, and there's the trip, the inside trip that he was trying to set up. But that was an interesting spot for a while.
You saw Clark there trying to just find his balance, but Condon did a good job of putting him off balance and working to get that trip, and that's what he was able to do. So right now, Condon is on top with 2 minutes left in the first. So Jarius Clark's going to try to build to a base and try to get the 1 point. But as you mentioned earlier, Olivia, the Big Ten known for being tough on top. So right now you see him putting Jarius Clark in his very uncomfortable position, having that hand, putting pressure on his head. So it's going to be hard for Clark to get that 1 point right now.
Yeah, like we were just saying, 174. Before we move to 184, though, stick around for that break. You're going to get an interview with Jamie Franco, head coach of the Pride in his 2nd season. So stick around if you want to hear a little bit about him and the team and how their season's going so far. Condon really heavy on Clark's wrist here. We'll see if he uses it to make a bar or just continues to use that pressure to make Clark kind of uncomfortable, put some pain on him. He's switching his hands on the wrist there, trying to dig under on the other side. Clark doing a good job of building to his base, though. But he's not going to be able to get up as long as Condon has that wrist control, so he frees his wrist on the edge of the mat here, building to his feet. But they'll go out of bounds before Clark's able to get anything.
Clark did a good job of defending that really tough position, was able to even stand up. Unfortunately, they were out of bounds, no points awarded there, so we will see Clark back to the center. But what's different now from last season is he is at 174. He's not at 157 anymore, so these guys that are on top of him are naturally a lot bigger. So he has to get used to having this extra weight when standing up. So it's a lot harder to defend than at 157.
Clark did a good job there of continuing to move when he was able to get out and kind of free his leg, or free everything but the leg, really. Tried to scramble out of that, but get reset here. 20 seconds left in this first period.
The last time we did see Clark was at UPenn. He did not compete in the Keystone Classic, so a little less mass time than some of the other wrestlers in the Pride.
Clark just completely flattened out here, with Condon having that leg ride. Is it really difficult? It's a short time, so that'll do it for the first period.
So now going into the second, it will be Red's choice. So now reversing positions, Clark will be on top compared to being on bottom for most of the first. So let's see if he can get anything done by breaking his opponent down.
A little caution here. Started a little too early, all good. Clark will cover again. Over. We'll hold.
Yeah, I mean, definitely something going on between there, but talking about the two, we did see Condon wrestle yesterday as well. A lot of these a lot of these Wisconsin wrestlers did against Army, so beating Cooper Haas 5-4 in a very close matchup.
Hofstra will face Army later this season. They'll travel up to just West Point. I was going to say they're the Black Knights, but yeah. They'll travel up to West Point for another really tough opponent, not just in general Army's ranked, but also they're in the conference in the EIWA. Wisconsin wrestled Bucknell earlier this season in what was a really close duel. And that was a nasty head and arm from Condon, but it's going to be called out of bounds, I'm guessing. Chris Bono, the head coach, though, going up to the scorer's table to argue about that. It was a beautiful throw, but we'll just see if that was in or what the situation here.
Interesting from Bono, he does not throw the challenge brick. He just goes straight to the desk. So he's not technically challenging it. He is just complaining to the refs. Let's see if he walks to that brick to go throw it. But right now the brick's still sitting by the bench. But the referee said no points awarded because Clark did go out. I wonder if Condon's feet were still in or will still out. They're saying it was still in, but they could have fell out slightly, and then Condon put him back in, tried to deceive the refs, but we will play on 4-0 with 1:12 left in the period.
Yeah, I think in a match like this, Bono's not really worried about Condon and how he's performing in this match. He doesn't see Clark as that dangerous of an opponent, especially if he just threw him like that and would have had him on his back and if they were in the middle of the mat. So better to save the challenge brick for a different situation where he wants a little bit, like it's a little bit closer.
And Condon is one of the younger wrestlers for the Badgers. He is a redshirt sophomore, and you'll see tonight a lot of the wrestlers for Wisconsin are seniors, are juniors. But he is someone, even at his young age, he started in every dual meet last season, going 15-12. But as we said, Clark is in on a shot.
Condon with a tough front headlock, though, under Clark's arm here. He's trying to pull him to flatten him out. Gonna work around, get to Clark's leg. Clark did a good job of building back to his feet, though.
On that defense, Condon did a good job of separating his hips, getting his legs as far back as possible, and then trapping Clark's arm on his way of trying to reverse that into something that he could take advantage of. But Clark, after the shot, did a good job of standing up, going back to neutral. And now to start the third period, Clark elects neutral.
Some more hand fighting here, kind of where we started this match.
And now into the fifth match. We've seen a lot of the Pride guys, instead of electing to go bottom, they elect to go neutral. So as we've been talking about, these Wisconsin guys known for their heavy pressure on top, so it seems like they're more confident on the feet.
Condon took a shot there in the crackdown position here. Clark trying to hold on to the body, but Condon's going to do a good job of climbing the body to get three and get that takedown. So now it's 7-0. Condon went over 2 minutes of riding time, so currently has really 8-0 for a major decision victory, but he'll let Clark go, so that'll give Clark 1 point. A minute left in this third period. Seems like the Wisconsin staff is telling Condon to go work those takedowns to kind of rack up the score a little bit more.
Even though Wisconsin is beating the Pride 14-0, team points still do matter. It does look better in the score sheet if they beat even a team like Hofstra by a lot, by a big, wider margin. So another takedown, another point will get to a major decision instead of a regular decision. So that is what the Badgers are working for right now. Here, Bono and the rest of Wisconsin coaches, you're telling Condon to go for a snap, try to use that snap as a way to get in on a shot. So even though time is winding down, Condon is very active, trying to get more points on the board.
Nice shot attempt there by Clark. Try to duck under and get to a leg. But it's not going to be enough for this match. As time starts to wind down here.
Clark did a good job this match when he took a shot and then right away when he realized he wasn't going to score on that shot, standing back up. Sometimes you see wrestlers continuing to fight for his position that's just not there. So Clark had a really good mat awareness, knowing where he was at the mat, knowing where each position was, and instead of wasting time trying to get a big takedown, he stood up.
This is going to be 17-0 as we go into this break, but we're going to look at some of the highlights from this match before we go into a break. Stick around to watch more Hofstra wrestling and to hear from Jamie Franco.
The State Farm Personal Price Plan helps you create an affordable price just for you.
Contact local agent Marty Connor for your personal price plan today.
The Hofstra Bookstore is your official store for all your Hofstra merchandise. Make sure to sign up with your email in order to receive coupons and discounts for future purchases. Stop by the store in the Student Center or shop online at hofstra.bncollege.com.
QFA's 5-star offense maximizes client returns while the 5-star defense generates additional current income while mitigating risk. To learn more, reach out to co-founder and Hofstra alumni Joe Rinaldi or register on their website at qfainc.com.
We've got an interview for you here. Jamie Franco, head coach of the Hofstra Pride, sat down about a month ago with our own Kevin Dexter to talk about the season and his role as head coach.
What did you learn most in year one as a head coach last year that you'll take with you here into year two?
Year one was great. It was a great group of kids. I think I got lucky in knowing most of them coming back, and I, got to coach a lot of them when I was here in the past. So I got lucky there, but learned that it's a long season and it's a marathon. I can't harp on a loss or a bad performance, and just kind of keeping the guys positive and get them towards the end of the year. And I think that's what we push to our kids, and I try to do the same. I was like, it's just a match, or it's okay, and and just got the guys to peak at the right time of the year, which was the biggest thing. And learning, staying positive really helped the guys peak at the right time at the end of the year.
What are you taking away from last season from a team perspective? The success you had, maybe some of the troubles that you had?
Yes, for success-wise, I thought, so our upperclassmen, Kyle Mosier and Ross McFarland, led the team basically all year and having a great performance from the start to the finish. And now we're building like the younger guys that were in our lineup last year and are back this year. They got to see hey, those guys were winning at the national level. So why not us? I was in the room every day with them. I was training with them. Why not me, right? So I think we have a handful of kids right now that they saw how they trained, they realized it's my time now, and that's what we're pushing on the guys, and we're hoping in week one these guys jump out to a great start and come out kind of where we left off. I thought we left off attacking and looking to score points the whole time. I'm hoping we could just roll right into it, looking with the same kind of mindset.
You bring those two guys up, obviously great individual accomplishments last year, IWA champions in Ross and Kyle. How can you replace what those two guys brought to the team?
Yeah, I don't think you could replace those guys, but what you do is you get the next guys up, and I think especially at 165, Jake Slotnick's looking really, really good, and he's going to be filling into that 165-pound slot, which he started 2 years ago for us. So he's ready. He's made the big jump in training. I think, like I said, having Kyle and Jesse Delvecchio, our assistant, is one of his training partners, and Joe Booth and some of the other guys throughout the summer, and Jarius Clark, just getting in there and just wrestling really hard and staying on top of his technique and just drilling and just really focused. I think he's going to be looking to fill that spot pretty quick. And then just the leadership that we're losing from Ross is tough, to fill. But we have a lot of guys stepping up. We have a great group of captains. Chase Liardi, Ryan Arbite, Jake Slotnick, and Jarius Clark really stepped up this year. Where I think Ross was the voice of the room a lot of times in the locker room and whatnot. But now those guys really are filling in, and they changed their role, and I can see a huge difference in them on just kind of how they, keep the guys accountable, how they lead the room, and then keep guys in line when we're not around.
You mentioned a couple of them already. Of the returners, who can we look to see a step forward from this season?
Yeah, I think, like I said, Jake Slotnick, like I said, he redshirted last year, and he's looking really, really good. And Will Conlon was another one who had a really good redshirt season last year. He's going to be in at 197 this year, and he's looking really good. I can't wait. He won't be in week 1, but looking excited for him for week 2. But those two guys, we didn't get to see, the fans didn't get to see them as much because they weren't in our lineup last year. But those are going to be two guys that I think we're going to have a big season this year. And then just everyone else, I think the 1 year older, 1 year mature is really going to help a lot of the guys out. So Chase is already going up a weight class. It's going to be a good adjustment for him. He's looking a lot more fresher in the room and stuff. So excited to see how he looks at the new weight class.
Apple Bank opened its doors over 160 years ago. And back then, it was all about one-on-one banking. In today's world, banking's all about easy and convenient, and saving you time for the moments that matter. We get that, but sometimes you need to speak with someone to make it happen. And at Apple Bank, that's what we still do. One-on-one service since the day we first opened.
Welcome to Apple Bank. How can I help you?
Easy, convenient, personal banking. Apple Bank, your neighbor, your bank since 1863.
I wasn't born a leader.
It wasn't given to me.
I couldn't buy it.
How'd I get here?
I decided.
I decided.
I decided.
I decided.
Decide to lead as an Army officer.
Bring color to life with the very best paint, only at Sherwin-Williams.
Welcome back to the MAC. We are in the second half of action here as Hofstra Wrestling takes on Wisconsin. You saw 5 matches already, really tough matches where Wisconsin just kind of beat up on the Pride. We're going to look at some of the replays, though, of where Hofstra did shine. And then we get 5 more matches for the rest of the lineup. So let's see here. We got Jarius Clark in his match at 174 pounds, the one you just watched, was underhooks. But Condon with a beautiful throw take Clark to his back, but they were out of bounds on that one, so that was no points. See another takedown here from Condon. And another. Then you have Jake Slotnick here against Gable. Slotnick tried to come out the back door. Gable walked around. The hips here, making it really difficult for Slotnick to get that offense going. Here's head coach Jamie Franco in his 2nd season with the Pride. wrestled here at Hofstra for years. The head coach was the assistant coach from 2016 to 2023, three-time NCAA qualifier for the Pride, and wrestled from 09 to 14. So he knows these guys really well, knows this program really well. He's been a mainstay here on Long Island.
Yeah, he's a Long Island staple, someone that has done a lot of work with the Pride, but a lot of work for the community. We saw before the Columbia meet, he hosted a little practice, a little session for all these younger wrestlers, for these high school wrestlers, for these youth wrestlers, to learn from the best, to learn from the Hofstra coaches, to learn from some great coaches around here. He wants to make an impact on the wrestling community. So not just the Pride guys, but to all of Long Island, he's had a huge impact on. But looking at the Hofstra lineup, we will start at 184 after the break. Matthew Waddell, he's a redshirt sophomore, someone that at tournaments has wrestled at 174, but for the dual meet lineup, he will move up to 184. 197 will be Will Conlon. We last saw him for the Pride get 5th place at the Keystone Classic. 285, Adrian Sands will be wrestling for the Pride. Then we will go back up to 125 with Teague Strobel, a redshirt freshman, and another redshirt freshman at 133 with Gage Ship. And we're on to Wisconsin at 184, Kale Anderson, a redshirt senior, at 197, Wyatt Ingram, a redshirt freshman, Braxton Amos at 285, a redshirt junior with an incredible resume. At 125, wrapping the night off will be Nicola Rivera and Zan Fugit at 133.
Looks like we're going to get back to action here shortly. We'll get to Matthew Waddell, one of 2 wrestlers to win in the last dual meet against UPenn. But he'll have a tough opponent against Kayla Anderson here.
Waddell is someone that I looked at that has improved so much from last season, and he's doing this at 184. He is a really light 184 pounder, and at 184 against UPenn, he didn't just beat the guy, he tech faulted him. Doesn't matter what ranking this wrestler was, it's still someone at UPenn. So Waddell, even though things didn't go his way at the Keystone Classic, different tournament, he won. He won the Journeyman Classic this season, and in that victory, he got 2 pins. So at 184, Matthew Waddell, 7-6 this season, redshirt sophomore from Sittertown, Georgia, will be facing Kale Anderson from Vicara, Wisconsin. He's a redshirt senior with a 3-4 record.
Like we've seen in all these matches, really heavy hand fighting to start. Anderson with a front headlock here on Waddell. Really locked around there, trying to pull him flat. Waddell really trying to avoid that. Gets up to his feet, pulling on the elbow. Tried to free himself there, and he'll get on top of Anderson. And he'll get a takedown there, Matthew Waddell. That was a kind of crazy flurry. Still in there. Really close to the Wisconsin coaches. They maybe need to back up a little bit. They're right on the edge of the map, but what a re-attack there from Matthew Waddell to get that first takedown.
That was great work from Waddell. Was able to get the takedown and was able to put him flat on his mat. So, or flat on his back, excuse me. But Waddell, we mentioned, he looks small for a weight class, but so does Cal Anderson. He does not look like he has that big of a weight difference between 2 wrestlers. So Waddell getting the first takedown, or excuse me, second takedown for a Pride guy tonight.
That was really good. We like to see Hofstra pushing the offense. That's one of the big things that Franco's talked about this season, is going out there and not just putting the effort, but putting on a show, as he puts it. And I think Matthew Waddell definitely put on a show with that one. That was a crazy flurry of action there to get the takedown. But now they're back in this hand fighting situation. Anderson, the really heavy collar tie. Nice little level change there. Waddell got his leg out of the way. Minute left in this first period. Anderson controlling a wrist here.
Now, Anderson's not one of the most credentialed wrestlers on the Wisconsin roster, so Waddell could try to take advantage of that. Anderson last season, he only had a 5-8 record. He didn't wrestle as much as some of these other guys you'll see tonight have, and he had a losing record, only had 5 wins. So,
and a beautiful double there, but Waddell continuing to move and not give up the takedown here. On the edge of the mat, Anderson on the hips, able to get the takedown here. So they're still in. They'll go out of bounds, get reset in the center. It was a good defense from Waddell, but eventually, like, you get to a spot where you can't really keep defending that. Anderson climbed the body really well to control.
right at the edge of the mat. Those wrestlers are close to being out. If not being out, referee is very lenient with the whistle there, and by the time he got the takedown, Anderson did a good job of putting his foot back inside, making sure it was in there, and referee started swiping. So
Waddell tried to kind of funky roll out of that one. Trying to get to his knees. That'll do it for the first period. So 3-4 your score right now. Anderson leading by 1. Waddell's going to defer. Anderson's choice is going to take bottom.
Anderson was able to get a stand-up earlier after the wrestlers went out of bounds. So high-scoring matchup so far, but Chris Bono, this is his 7th season as head coach for Wisconsin bench. You'll be hearing him all night, a very verbal coach, making sure his wrestlers hear him, hear his calls. But we'll move back to the mat.
Big mat return there from Matthew Waddell. Just completely lifting Anderson off the mat. Still, and that'll be the escape there for Anderson to put him up 5-3.
Waddell did a good job of jumping over Anderson, prevents him from getting in on the legs. So right now, after 2 wrestlers went out of bounds, he'll be back to the middle.
So a stall warning there on Anderson as he just kind of backed away from Waddell's pressure as they started to go out of bounds.
Waddell did a good job there. Just keep fighting through. Did not let him get 3 points, but on the re-attack, Anderson was able to find the 3.
And a lot of scrambles in this match, a lot of back and forth from these two.
Anderson doing a good job of keeping the control around the hip. Keep going for that underhook, looking for those type of claw positions. But Waddell has done a good job of standing back up.
Waddell up on his feet, but brought back down by Anderson with that lock on the hip.
30 seconds.
About 30 seconds left in this second period. This has been a pretty entertaining match, though. A lot of back and forth between these two. Definitely more scrambly, as I was just saying.
And as we talked about earlier, Waddell, a natural 174-pounder. So now in positions when he's on bottom, he feels that extra weight, even though Anderson might also be another small 184-pounder. He is a natural 184-pounder compared to Waddell. And as the match closes, or excuse me, as the period closes, it'll be 8-3, and it will be Waddell's choice after deferring.
See what he takes here. So he's going to take bottom. I did like what we were seeing. I feel like he's been able to build his base a little bit more than some of the other guys throughout this duel. And right before the end of the period, Anderson tried to do a mat return where Waddell dove for the ankle. Trying to sit out here as he gets to his feet right away. He's able to control hands. Anderson drops down there, but Waddell with a little reversal attempt there, tried to get Anderson on his back. Trying to use that, touch the mat, kind of keep that momentum going, and use it for his own advantage, but not able to get reset here, center of the mat.
Waddell was so close to putting Anderson in a position where he could have pinned him, but Anderson did a good job once he felt his back start revealing to the match, turned right away, prevented Waddell from getting any points there, and lucky enough for the two that they're out of bounds. So Waddell keeps doing a good job of trying to face forward there, but as we saw there, sometimes that does not work. Sometimes you could get put flat to the back, but from previous encounters, Waddell's done a good job of using those type of moves to try to put Anderson on his back.
Yeah, Waddell kind of just going for it, doing kind of risky positions to try to get Anderson out of position. He's now in a kind of tough spot here, pretty flat. Anderson is thinking about hooking that ankle. He's using it to block. I'll have both his hands down on Waddell. Waddell will get the escape here. Be 4-8 right now is the score. So Waddell needs a little bit more than just a takedown to put himself ahead in this match. About 40 seconds left. There's a shot though. Waddell's head is down though. Anderson on a pretty hard sprawl. With that front headlock now. Waddell trying to pop out, but didn't quite commit to it enough. The wrestling coaches, the Wisconsin coaches telling him to bounce Waddell's head. Anderson still has that front headlock. It's a really tough spot. As he'll just throw Waddell by for another takedown.
That was a really nice throw by to close the match, but this was a really close match for Waddell. You saw a lot of shining points for Waddell, and Waddell was someone that only recorded a 4-11 record for the Pride last season. So Waddell improved so much from last season to this season, wrestling at a higher weight class, and by doing so, he's had some really close matchups as well. But we will be moving on to 197, as we will see Will Conlon, a 6'3" junior from Hoover, Alabama, taking on Wyatt Ingram, a redshirt freshman from Emory, Wisconsin, with a 4-3 record.
Right back. It's just hand fighting is the theme of the first few minutes of all of these matches. Conlon with an underhook here. Really pressuring. Ingham on his heels here.
Right now, Conlon doing a good job of having double underhooks, trying to take advantage of those, but the two go out of bounds. See Wyatt rushing towards the middle, trying to show his urgency.
Conlon with collar tie there, double collar tie. Really putting his weight as he tries to set up front headlock. Ingham trying to use that. Both really tall 197. And you see that as Conlon's able to get a little bit of an ankle pick there. So while you're seeing the heavy hand fighting, know that these two are going to try to take shots on each other just because of how much reach they have and how long their legs are. So you see that. Ingham trying to take a shot.
And those legs also helped him in defense. You saw he was able to get his legs a little farther because of that. So two pretty big wrestlers at 197. You can sometimes see these little shorter guys that have just built on muscle, or you can see these big, lengthy guys as well. So very similar build from the two. If anything, Will Conlon looks like to have more muscle between the two guys. So let's see if he can use his strength in any positions here.
Conlon trying to control the center of mat. Moves to a Russian. Look clear of the ties though. This guy's circle to the center. Ingham trying to change his pace. Ingham on Conlon's leg there. Conlon does a good job of crawling away, but he's not able to get out of that one, as Ingham will get the takedown here on the edge of the mat.
Yesterday we saw Ingham beat Wolfgang Frabel of Army in a tech fall 16-1, which is a familiar foe for Will Conlon. Conlon has also beat Frabel before. Now, Wyatt Ingham is not one of these world beaters on the Army roster. This could be a close match on paper. This is one of the closest matchups we will see. So, Ingham, someone who only wrestled in 7 matches last year, holding a 3-4 record. He's not one of these guys with crazy experience. He is one of the younger guys on the Army roster. So let's see if Will Conlon can make a moment and go for these shots and get some points on the board.
Ingham with a big mat return. He'll keep Conlon down here. About 20 seconds left in this first period. And claw right here. The spiral. Conlon building to his feet. Big mat return again from Ingham. Still go out of bounds. 9 seconds on the clock as they get reset here.
With 9 seconds left, you just need a fast burst from Conlon. If Conlon wants to get this 1 point, make it only a 2-point matchup, he needs to get up right away. No wasting time. Might not be your most tactical attempt. Might not be one of those slow ones. But if he can just burst up and just try to go for it, you get the 1 point. But as time winds down, looks like another mat return for Ingham to close the period.
Ingham's doing a really good job of walking really tight against the body, but also kind of taking a step to the outside. So when he does lift Conlon, Conlon's not able to like kind of take a step. His legs are caught between Ingham's. And so it's a really solid mat return, and that's why you're seeing that. But Conlon on top now, so we'll see what he's able to do with that same spiral ride, trying to control hands. See, there was a lift attempt, got called for locking hands, so Ingham had a free move, and it'll be the 1 point escape. And then because he locked hands, he'll have to give up another point. Ingham on leg here, crackdown position. Conlon was on the waist. Dangerous there, almost had himself exposed on his back because he was trying to hold on.
Yeah, that clasp really started a sequence for Ingham. One, it gave up an extra point that wasn't unnecessary. Conlon noticed the clasp, so he had to release it, which gave Ingham an opportunity to escape. He was able to escape, gave him 2 points, and right away he went on the legs to get another 3.
Conlon got the escape there. Ingham on a shot, but Will tried to get a re-attack of his own. Ingham on another shot. Again in this crackdown position. Conlon wrapping around the crotch here. Getting ready to lift Ingham, get his own hips back. So he's able to avoid getting taken down there. 43 seconds left, 8-1 your score right now. Conlon trying to get an offense of his own started here.
Ingham has done a really good job of getting in on Conlon's legs. We were mentioning his reach. He's able to shoot from these farther positions and be able to take advantage of them. You saw on the edge of the mat right there. His shot was not one of those close shots. He was able to shoot from a distance, and even though he didn't get the 3 points, it was a really well attempt from Ingham, and right again in a similar position where he's trying to go back door.
Conlon in a really dangerous spot there as he'll give up the takedown. Had to watch where his shoulders were for a second. This match is starting to kind of get away from Conlon, where at first it was pretty even on their feet. They were hand fighting, but Ingham has slowly kind of chipped away and just has won all of any 50-50 sort of situation, he's won it, so.
A lot of times to start a wrestling match, it's a feeling out period. So Ingham in the first period feeling out Conlon, seeing what works, what doesn't work, and then after that he found his bread and butter, figured out how he can get those takedowns on Conlon. We saw yesterday he won via tech fall, he won 16-1, so he's doing a good job this weekend of racking up points.
So Conlon on bottom to start this third period. Kind of a tough spot. Not much you can do there other than try to build up and avoid getting pinned or giving up too many near fall points, but he'll get hit with a stall warning, saying that he needs to get moving.
These stall warnings have been a common occurrence for the Pride tonight. We saw it against Liardney, we saw it against Volpe. I believe we saw it against Clark as well, so a lot of these guys are getting called for stalling for not working on bottom. So after the stalling, you see Colin trying to build to a base, but
Ingham with that arm bar, which was really tough. Conlon able to avoid getting put to his back there, though. That's a really painful spot, a lot of pressure on the shoulder. Though Ingham did a really good job of keeping that legal, not letting his hand right up. But you're right, Zach, that there's been a lot of stalling as Conlon gets hit with stall warning again, so he'll give up a point there. They just really haven't seen any guys who are as tough on top as this Wisconsin squad, which we kind of knew. Obviously being Big Ten, being Midwestern, like that's kind of what they're known for. It's a really tough ride on top in a very classic folk style. But Hofstra just really hasn't had to encounter that. Ingham has this really tough arm bar. Again, Conlon able to get out of that.
Conlon right there did a good job of following through the arm bar every time Ingham took a step. He took a step with him, and then at a certain point, there's a little opening where he was able to squeeze his arm through and it will pop his arm out. But the clock will run out, and another point awarded to Ingham for stalling.
So that's the match is going to end 14-1 with the riding time point. So it's just going to be a major decision victory for Ingham, and it's going to put Wisconsin up 25-0 over the Pride.
Now we will be moving to heavyweight, where Adrian Sands will be competing for the Pride with a 1-8 record. A redshirt junior from Miami, Florida, will be taking on Braxton Amos with a 7-1 record, who is a redshirt junior from Mineral Wells, West Virginia.
You're gonna look back at this match from Liardi, actually, way earlier in the night. But we'll get the action going here, some heavyweights. Then we'll move back down to the lightweights to kind of end the night. Sands with a Russian. Hasn't been the starter yet so far this season. And he'll get taken down there by Amos, who's already trying to set something up here. Gets Sands in this cradle position, locks it up, walks him over, has him on his back. Referee making the count. Amos just needs to kind of drop his hips, but Sands using his hands to avoid that. So they'll belly back out. Sands is a big guy. That's a lot of weight to try to bundle up, so he's able to avoid getting pinned there.
Almost a really fast pin for Amos, and Amos is a guy that has all the credentials in the world. We mentioned in the Open that he is someone that competed in the Olympic trials. He's a our senior world team member for the USA in 2022, but one of his most impressive ones might be from high school, going undefeated 142 to nothing. But in 3 years, he let 0 offensive points.
He's got Sands on his back here again, still in that cradle, and that's going to do it. That's going to be the pin. So that'll be 6 points for Wisconsin to put them up 31-0 over the Pride now.
Amos, this is his first season as a heavyweight. We did not see him in 2 years, and when we did see him those previous years, he wrestled at 197, so that extra weight is really going into play for him. But we will be moving on to 125, where we will be seeing Teague Strobel for the Pride. He's a redshirt freshman from Westminster, South Carolina, holding a 5-6 record. He will be taking on Nicola Rivera, who has a 7-0 record, who is a redshirt junior from Staunton, Wisconsin.
So these next two guys for Wisconsin are their highest ranked wrestlers. Rivera coming in at number 9, and then Fugit, their 133-pounder, coming in at number 3. So you're going to see really tough wrestling out of these little guys here.
And for the Pride, for both these weight classes, it is 2 redshirt freshmen who have looked really impressive so far for the Pride, but they haven't competed against these really tough guys that are ranked. So we'll see what Teague Strobel can do. If he can pull up any points, can get a takedown. But Teague Strobel is fighting in this hand fight and is doing a good job of taking control in some certain positions.
Strobel trying to work in here. Nice little duck under there from Rivera. Drops his level again. Strobel trying to work in. Gets to an ankle. Rivera does a good job of turning the corner there. Now on Strobel's ankle, so we'll see a scramble here. Strobel on top, but Rivera trying to set up a cradle from, was kind of the bottom position. Now he's on top, and so he'll get a takedown on Strobel. Still has that near side cradle.
That was a crazy sequence between
Yeah.
both wrestlers. You saw a really impressive ankle pick from Teague Strobel, but Nicola Rivera, ranked number 9 for a reason, was able to jump through right away, something you won't see that often.
Strobel there tried to create some offense of his own, but Rivera stayed stuck on him and kind of tripped him up to bring him back down. But he got out of the like cradle kind of position, so he got himself out of the danger. But
Strobel's looked really good this match. The second time right there where he was almost able to get around to the back of Rivera. At first, when they're in that 50-50 position, he almost got to the back, but Rivera was able to get that cradle we were talking about. And then right there on the exit of the cradle, he was able to get the back of Rivera. But
Rivera getting some exposure here in this tilt. Got Strobel really kind of spread out there. Come back to cover on top. Be 7-0 right now for Rivera after getting those near fall points.
Rivera, coming into this matchup with an undefeated record, has looked really good. Last season came in with a 24-7 record, but this year has only looked better and has improved so much from an already credible, accomplished wrestler to now being someone that could place really high in the NCAA championship.
Tough crossface there to end this first period. It's going to be Rivera's choice, so he'll take bottom. So we'll see what they look like from this position. Strobel, the spiral ride. Rivera is starting to build. Goes for the reversal, and he'll get it. That's 2 more points there. Strobel trying to free himself, but in another tough spot where Rivera's just pulled him over. He'll get 4 more near fall.
This is 125, the fastest weight class. And in a second, you see Strobel on top, and then Rivera goes right back and reverses it. So really good work from Rivera. Was able to use his speed, was able to create separation to get that roll through to create himself to be on top. So score is leaning away 13-0 right now for Rivera.
Drops down to Strobel's ankle to keep him. Like we said earlier, it's 15 points ahead of your opponent to get that tech fall, and Rivera's definitely working for it. It's frustrating, though, because we saw some really good stuff out of Strobel when they were on their feet, but this is one of the things with folk style is you don't get reset. You kind of have to just deal with it while you're on bottom. About 40 seconds left in the second period, so we'll see if Strobel's able to hang on. It looks like Rivera is going to try to get some more near fall, but unsuccessful in that attempt.
Strobel can survive 30 seconds. We could see them back on that feet.
Strobel does a really good job of avoiding that. Rivera using a lot of pressure to try to pull him over, but Strobel actually able to use that to get to his feet, so he'll get the escape. Got Rivera in a front headlock, but it's pretty loose. Rivera tried to do like a little fireman's carry there, and he will get the takedown. So that'll do it for the match. 16-1 with the tech fall for Rivera, so that's going to put Wisconsin up 5 more points to make it 36-0 over the Pride, and we'll get to our last match of the night.
Yeah, rough matchup right there for Strobel. A really good start to it, but once Rivera got on top, you couldn't take advantage of it. But we will be moving on to 133 for our last match of the night, where we will have Gage Shipp for the Pride, a redshirt freshman from Henderson, Illinois, holding a 6-8 record, taking on Zen Fugit who's a redshirt sophomore from Nixa, Montana, holding a 6-1 record. Now, Fugit, someone that was going into this weekend undefeated, lost in an upset to Ethan Bergnick of Army 7-4 in Survivor time. So, Fugit coming off his first loss of the season. We'll see how he reacts against Gage Ship.
We've been talking about hand fighting. Now this, Gage Ship, a guy who really likes to be in the hand fight, really comfortable here as he has the underhook right now. It has that Greco background, so it's pretty comfortable in the upper body. So see if this lends itself a little bit more to his style, if he's able to use Fugit's offense for his own. But like we said, Fugit, the highest ranked wrestler on this team, for Wisconsin, coming in at number 3 in the country. So probably the highest ranked guy any Hofstra wrestler might face this season.
Coming at number 3 this year, plays 4th in the NCAA championship last year. So probably the most credentials. On a collegiate level, you can make a case that Amos has the most international credentials, but Fugit has done a lot in his short time with the Badgers. He's only a redshirt sophomore. He is one of the youngest guys on the starting lineup. But we did mention international success. He has also had some international success of his own, and this includes competing at the U23 Pan America Championships at 61 kgs.
I have a little bit some argument from the Wisconsin coaches. The ref called that armbar illegal for moving up the back, but the Wisconsin coaches believe that it was perfectly fine. But Ship will get reset here, still on bottom, with Fugit on top. That takedown earlier, he did have Ship kind of on his back in a really dangerous spot, but Ship able to belly out and avoid at least having the match end right there. Though now he's in a tough spot, having to fight off of bottom here. Trying to peel the hand, get his head up, hands in front of him. Now he needs to get his hips under him. About a minute still left in this first period. Ship trying to build. Fugit just really heavy on top. Fugit with that armbar again. See if he's able to use it this time. The Wisconsin coaches really want him to go for it. So use that bar for a tilt. Try to get some near fall. He's getting swipes from the ref here. Ship trying to sit out. Well, belly out at least. Doing 3 near fall. And gets 6-0.
10 seconds.
Ship trying to build still. As we get to the end of this first period. 6-0 right now for Fugit.
Gage Ship has made it only a 6-0 matchup. Fugit, we mentioned, as credentialed as it gets, so now they are back to neutral. So anything can happen on the feet. You can see Ship go for that takedown. We mentioned one of the keys for the Pride is being able to get those takedowns. Even though it might not be the first takedown in the match, he can make it the first takedown or the first takedown attempt of the period. Get Fugit thinking. And in wrestling, it's a match of errors and margins. So the smallest error can cost a wrestler even as good as Fugit. You saw him lose last matchup against Ethan Burnick, who is not a ranked guy. He's not this world beater. So Ship can make something happen here. But he needs to throw some more attempts and not just hand fight.
I did like the sequence there that Ship was working on. Just continue to pressure Fugit and kind of work his own offense. But in order to be successful with that, you have to continuously attack and keep the pressure on. So Ship maybe needs to get it going, especially because he only has a minute left in the second period. While you're on your feet, you got to use it. Ship with a little fake there. Fugit sprawled out, but got back up to his feet really quick. Got an underhook here.
Fugit also took a takedown attempt, but it was from a distance. Didn't even get to the legs. It was a pretty weak attempt from Fugit, but it could have just been to feel out his opponent.
Ship tried to get something going there on the edge of the mat, though. Got to do that with a little bit more space.
And for someone that's ranked number 3, you're not seeing that much offense from Zan Fugit. But as you say that, he gets to the back of Ship.
And a pretty easy takedown there for Fugit to put him up. Just kind of got behind and brought him down.
10 seconds.
Short time, though, for a Ship to try to build here.
Now going into the last period of the night, we're going to see if Ship can get any points to make it a closer matchup, or if Fugit's just going to run away from it. But it will be Green's choice. And Hofstra, instead of going bottom, will be choosing top. Usually that's a position that wrestlers don't go with that often, but why not try something different and see if you can make anything happen.
Ship trying to lift here. The mat return. But Fugit able to get the reversal. Take Ship down pretty easily here.
Fugit did a good job there of putting his leg in front of Ship's and getting him off balance. Was usually able to use the unbalancedness of Ship and the weight of his body to get him to the ground. But the two went out of bounds, gliding into the desk, and now they're back to the middle.
It's the light guys you gotta worry about. I think it's the heavyweights.
But 1:25 left in the period. Ship able to get a point, was able to get a stand-up.
Gonna get taken down once again, and so that will be a tech fall for Fugit there over Ship. So that will put Wisconsin up 5 more points. So they'll end this duel with a 41-0 victory over the Pride. Kind of a brutal matchup for Hofstra, but we knew this going in. Obviously a Big Ten, a ranked opponent. It was going to be a really tough duel. Hofstra travels for the Bucknell Quad and then has a while before they come back home on February 9th to take on LIU, which will be a very different type of match. But Zach, what are your takeaways from a match like this?
We knew this was going to be a tough outing for the Pride. Wisconsin has studs in every weight class, but we were not expecting to see a really close match between Slotnick at 165. We know Slotnick has beat ranked opponents in the past, but the fact that he's able to continuously prove doubters wrong. He was someone that wasn't even a high recruit coming in to his time with the Pride, so Slotnick has done a great job, and he was really close at the end of the match to even beating his opponent. He was really close in that takedown attempt, so my takeaway is Slotnick could be a guy that could go far this season, and it was great work from Slotnick, who is one of the younger guys on the team.
Once again, like we said, Hofstra's going to travel to Bucknell, and then they'll be back here for LIU, but we're going to look at some of these highlights and then call it a night. Good night and go Pride.